The Canadian National Anthem brings us into Children's Arena here in Oshawa, Ontario for Arena Lacrosse League action here in the East Division. A little first versus worst action here on your Saturday night, as it is the 8-1 Whitby Steelhawks taking on the 1-8 Ohsweken Bears. We'll quickly get into the starting goaltender, starting with the visiting Bears. Making his 2025 debut will be Gavin Clark between the pipes. He played Junior B in Cambridge last year for the Highlanders. Opposing him at the other end of the blue carpet will be Lucas Coote. Coote enters this game with a 5-0-0 record, 1066 goals against average, 813 save percentage. He's made 231 bricks in the wall over 400 minutes between the pipes. The officials going into today's game are Chris Fennell as well as Ed Fines, with the crew chief being Brad Fennell. It is Bears, and it's the Steelhawks, and it's going down right now on your Saturday night as the Florida native in Timothy loses the rock temporarily, but his team gobbles it right back up. John Harrington, who's coming off of a 2-goal performance in the last game for the Bears, a tough 13-8 loss to the Paris Riverwolves back on Sunday, February 9th. They actually led that game 2-1 after the first, and they were tied 4-4 at half, but let the game slip away in the second half of that affair. Loose change, gobbled up out of the corner by Lucas Coote. Now an exit plan for the Steelhawks, led by Keenan into the Bear zone. Nice pass from Hanley will allow real estate for the Steelhawks to go to work. First shot of the game, and it's a big stop from Gavin Clark, allowing the boys in black to come back the other way. Colton Paget waits for support off the bench. The transitioning Bears come back into Steelhawk territory. Lucas Coote looking to make his first save of the game. Both teams coming off of losses in their last games, as Coote has this one whistle wide just to his right side, and the loose change bounces all the way over the halfway mark, giving the Steelhawks the ball back. Osborne will head off to the bench for fresher Steelhawks, and Coach Daggerton has to like what he's seen out of his team to start off this season with an 8-1 record, but wants to see improvement after that 24-14 loss in their last game to the Brampton Express on Friday, February 17th. Gavin Clark with a nice little save that allows Quinn Highland to get up the floor. Dropping this biscuit back as the Bears look to attack without Josh Sanchez as well as Stephen Portelli. Some huge offensive weapons, if you will, for Coach Ron Henry, known as Mouser. As the Steelhawks, big stop by Gavin Clark, point-blank robbery, denying Nate Woods. Woods looking for his 17th goal of the campaign, already 26 points entering tonight's competition. These two teams did play each other back on Sunday, December 29th. That was a 15-11 victory for the Steelhawks. Whitby would be winning a tight defensive game, 2-1 after the first, but led 8-5 at halftime. The Bears, though, would have a 5-goal third period and only be losing 10-9 heading into the fourth frame. As the possession clock was going, Crowley is chucked down to the blue carpet, and you know what? The Bears were about to go on a power play, and maybe Crowley might have gotten Colton Paget there. No, only one sin bin door is opening, and it will be Crowley heading off to the box for 2 or less. Coming into this game, the Bears power play operating at 46%, pretty respectable for a team with a 111 winning percentage and 8th in the East Division. The Whitby Steelhawks penalty kill, though, 60% so far this season. Perimeter passing around by the Bears. A low shot, and they score! Braden Smith, who scored the opening goal the last time his team was in Oshawa, has his team on the board with a power play marker. It took all of 12 seconds with the man advantage, and now the Bears have a 1-0 lead. Braden Smith, again, I believe he had a 4-goal campaign the last time he was here. That was Bears' first victory of the season, too. It took place on this blue carpet, as Goodchild and the Steelhawks look to respond after the Braden Smith opening marker here on your Saturday night. Keenan, the last time he was on this blue carpet, he had 8 assists as his team put on 24 goals against the Six Nations Snipers. 12 seconds left in possession. Good child, spun around like a bottle top, but eventually it is the Bears scooping it out of the near corner, and Lucas Beaver will get it up across half. Organization coming off of the Bears bench. That'll allow Chris Atwood to crawl into the zone. Atwood's an interesting cat, if you will. He's only got 4 goals on the season, but leads the team with 23 assists. 9 seconds left on this possession. It's a stop from Lucas Coote. Here at Children's Arena, they still have the penalty marker on the board, despite the fact that Braden Smith did score 12 seconds into it. The officials blow play dead here with 11:14 remaining in the opening frame, a 1-0 lead for the visiting Ohsweken Bears. The Bears, by the way, along with Oshawa, were the only teams coming into today's action with no home victories yet. This is a road game, though, for the Bears, as trying to go 5-hole, but Gavin Clark shuts it down, and trying to get his hand in the cookie jar, if you will, that time was Cole Hannaran. Now back the other way, Rude Johnson is denied, and Lucas Coote allows his defender to carry the rock back up the floor. That's Hoshman trying to go 1-on-4 into the Bears' den. He lost the biscuit in the process. Colton Paget back the other way for the Bears. And man, oh man, both teams technically undefeated in this barn. The Steelhawks with their 8-1 record are 5-0 at Children's Arena. The Bears at 1-8. Their only victory came here on this carpet in Oshawa. Backdoor pass attempt. And are they going to call interference here? I think they are. Cody Hamley, the assistant captain, got in the grill of a bear before he got to the ball. They're going to give the Bears the possession back, but no penalty on that play. Now the Bears looking to extend their lead here on the road early in Oshawa. That's Colton Paget to his teammate. He looked to cock back the cannon, and Braden Smith. Smith lost the biscuit, though. Now I believe that's Atwood. Atwood pump faking as time was expiring on possession. It's Lucas Coote making the easy chest save. Luke Keenan back into the Bears zone. Leaves this for Osborne, who gets a couple licks put on him, to say the least. He'll head off to the bench, and I apologize, that was Bozano. Now it's Liam Aston into that far corner. Looking around at the options right now, the Steelhawks go to the middle of the floor. That's Pfeiffer to a teammate, stopped by Gavin Clark. A rebound is there. The biscuit's loose, and the Steelhawks collect it with a fresh clock. Wisely settling it down in front of the Bears bench was Pfeiffer. Now the Steelhawks look to tie this game up. A bouncing shot stopped by Clark. The rebound was there, and Pfeiffer just couldn't handle it in time. The Oshawa, Ontario native leading his team in every category. 21 goals, 39 assists, and 60 points coming into today's game. He's averaging 6.7 points per game. 9-10 remains here in the first. Atwood looking around at his options. The St. Catharines, Ontario native finds it, and the captain in Renault. Renault had a hat trick in the last game in that loss. In fact, he had 5 goals while his team lost to the Steelhawks in the last encounter by a score of 15-11. They're going to say that counts. Atwood on the rebound scores. The St. Catharines, Ontario native, who leads his team in assists with 23 coming into today's game, gets his 5th goal of the season. 2-0 for the Bears here on the road with 8:49 remaining here in the opening frame. Atwood's been a part of 4 championship teams in his career, with the Six Nations Rebels, as well as the St. Catharines Saints, and as well as a couple Creator Cups thrown in there. So, again, the Steelhawks are coming off of a 24-14 loss. That was after winning by putting up 24 goals in their previous game. But where is the offense gone as the back door is shut down by Gavin Clark? Clark's been outstanding to start this game on your Saturday night. Lucas Beaver sort of spinning around in the Steelhawk zone. He'll wait for fresh Bears and Rude Johnson. And in tow, here comes Braden Smith, who had the opening goal of this game. Smith leaves it there for Atwood. Atwood, who added the insurance marker. Atwood, tough angle, stopped by Coote, and now back the other way come the Steelhawks. It's Highland, 2-on-1. Highland to a teammate, into the zone. Clark again denies it, and the ball ricochets off the rafters. It'll give the Bears the biscuit back. Colton Paget exits stage left, crosses over the midway mark and leaves that for Kyle Pedwell. Pedwell to the far side, cocking it back but not firing it is Rue Johnson. Johnson looking around for a seam, being harassed eagerly though by Nate Woods. And now on the near wall, just trying to save this play is Atwood to Johnson. Rue Johnson once again finds a seam. Johnson stopped by Coote. Man, oh man, are you not entertained? Lucas Coote with the point-blank robbery that time. He already came into this game, mind you, with 231 saves over 304 minutes. Oh yeah, and as a goalie, he likes to get involved in the offense too, with 7 assists so far on the campaign. And now a beautiful pass is capped off by Cameron York. The Steelhawks put it up on the board and now trail 2-1 here with 7:07 remaining in the opening frame. Cameron York, always a deadly threat. The last time, as I mentioned, the Steelhawks played here in Oshawa on this blue carpet. He played a huge factor in the 24 goals they put up against the Six Nations Snipers. But again, his team's coming off of a game where they lost 24-14. I'd scratch my head at that. You score 24 in one game, you give up 24 the next. Now, an odd man rush right away. Ohsweken tried to tie the game to go to that top right corner, and the ball actually ricochets into the official's box, which will allow the Bears to take over here with 6:50 remaining in the opening frame. So Braden Smith and Atwood have the 2 goals for the visiting Bears. And finally, breaking it all up was Cameron York with a beautiful pass. Backdoor, not much Gavin Clark could have done on that one. Matt Boisano look to give it to Keenan. Keeps it himself. Try to go down low. Keeping it off the goal line. Clark just got a piece of it, and his defenseman bailed him out that time as Nicholas D'Amico recognized the play and went, whoa, I'm going to take that out of the danger zone, Kenny Logan style. Kyle Pedwell. It's behind Coote, and they score! Oh me! Oh my! Kyle Pedwell, you can't see the 4s through the trees. I don't know if Lucas Coote saw that shot with all the numbers in front of him. Regardless, with 6:10 remaining here in the first period, we got a 3-1 game from the blue carpet known as Children's Arena. So the Bears come in with a 1-8 record. But as I mentioned before, they're undefeated here at Children's Arena with that one victory, where they won 15-11 over the Oshawa Outlaws back on the first. A jamboree for the biscuit off of the faceoff will send Nate Woods into his own zone. Woods lost it, though, to the Florida native and Timothy. Timothy wisely backtracks. Although he doesn't go over half, last time he did that in Oshawa, he drew a penalty for accidentally going back over the half-court line. The officials blow the whistle here as an official's timeout is called with 5:48 remaining here in the opening frame. And I beg your pardon, there's a penalty being called. That's going to stymie the Bears' opportunity. But with this quick break, we'll be back with more Arena Lacrosse League action here in the East Division. 5:48 remains here in the first. It will be the Steelhawks heading to the power play with Joseph Laforme serving the minor penalty for the Bears. The Steelhawks come in with a tremendous power play, 73% so far this season. The Bears' penalty kill, 34%. So we'll see how the numbers add up here with the Steelhawks trailing 3-1. Nice backdoor pass from Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer to a teammate on the near side. Great passing, but on the last second they can't handle it, and the loose change is collected by Pfeiffer with 8 seconds left. His low shot is blocked by the defenseman. 4 seconds left. Another long shot, and they score! 28 seconds into the power play, the Steelhawks that were operating at 73% see that number climb. As I mentioned, these two teams battled it out back on Sunday, December 29th. That was a 15-11 victory for the Steelhawks. In that game, Whitby was winning a defensive game 2-1 after the first, but led 8-5 at halftime. The Bears did grab 5 goals, though, in the third period to only trail 10-9 heading into the fourth. Timothy loses direction and allows Boisano and the Steelhawks to commandeer the ball back. 5:10 remains here in the first frame. A 3-2 game, though, for the visiting Bears. Now Keenan just couldn't handle it. His teammate being absolutely sandwiched by two Bears and Pfeiffer, and it will give the Bears the ball back. Pfeiffer, that's the guy you want to have the ball with 21 goals coming into today's game, but the Bears recognize that and just put the clamps right in the slot. Atwood has a seam. Atwood trying to lose the defenseman, looks back for better options. Right into the slot to Rue Johnson. Johnson back to Atwood. Atwood crosses the floor to the captain. Down low, the rebound's there. Coote lost track of it, but his defenseman gobbles it up. And then an attempt pass to go all the way down the floor was for naught, eventually helped out by Coote to get it to Highland, who crawls into the Bears zone. Highland gives it to Cameron York, who scored the first goal of the game for the Whitby Steelhawks. Liam Aston into that far corner. Hannaran spinning around. It hits the end wall, and it will go over the halfway mark. Over and back, charge for the home team. A tremendous start, if you will, for Mouser. Ron Henry, the head coach of the Ohsweken Bears, sees his team with a 3-2 lead after leading 2-0 out of the gate. He's also got Clancy Adams, Randy Henry, and Lisa Henry all joining him on the bench. So Atwood, with 4 minutes left, tries to go left to right on the radio dial. It bounces into the corner, and now 2-on-1. The Steelhawks try and pull away the ball, supported by Lucas Coote. Coote just decided, hey, I don't like the situation, I'll take care of it myself. So Hanley from Coote. Hanley takes a hit to make the play. Big stop by Gavin Clark on the captain and Liam Osborne. Nice dip and dive by Timothy. Timothy harassed, though. Looks to give up the rock, but not right away. 3.5 to go here in the first. Finally, Timothy gives it back to Kyle Pedwell. Pedwell to a teammate fresh off the bench. And that's Atwood back to Pedwell. Pedwell trying to lose Osborne. Pedwell tried to go top corner, but put it over the bar. As there's a huge slash at the middle of the floor, it sent the head of a lacrosse stick flying. It's just sitting there in front of the penalty box in front of the Whitby side of the floor. So with a delayed penalty, Coote goes to the bench, 6-on-5 for the Steelhawks here. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Taking a couple slashes that time, and they score! The second goal of the game for Sinfield, and as a result, it has his team tying this game up 3-3 with 2:49 remaining in the first. So they scored a power play marker earlier, and here they had a delayed penalty. Coote went off to the bench, 6-on-5. And again, this is a team that came in with a 73% power play. Doesn't matter if it's 5-on-4 or 6-on-5, they're making it count. So thanks again for joining us here on your Saturday evening from Children's Arena in Oshawa, Ontario. The 8-1 Steelhawks, the 1-8 Ohsweken Bears here in the East Division. As Clark pinched against the post to his right side. Pfeiffer, though, collects the rock in front of the Bears bench. Pfeiffer now into Ohsweken's zone. Nice feathering pass, and Clark didn't get enough of it. So the Steelhawks starting to rumble now. That's back-to-back goals, and they get their first taste of the lead in this game with 2:29 remaining in the first. Cole Hannaran put it behind Gavin Clark, who's been uber sharp to start this game, but it really was the pass. A couple times that Clark's been beaten in this game. Laser beam backdoor passes. The goalie can't cover that much distance. Now Boiseau with the bouncer sends Clark into the Snow Angel, and the biscuit stays out. So Cameron York and Landon Sinfield both scored twice, and then Hannaran scores the fourth goal to give the home team their first taste of the lead here with 2 minutes approaching in the first quarter of play. The Bears look to respond, and they do. I believe that's John Perry Smith putting it through the 5-hole that time of Lucas Coote. Last time he was in this building, same thing. He had a multiple goal campaign. I guess they like the Boise, Idaho style carpet that Children's Arena offers. So back to the center of the floor in a 4-4 game with 2:02 remaining here in the first. Are you not entertained? It's Arena Lacrosse League action here in the East Division as Timothy takes a couple slashes. I could see penalties going to both sides, but I believe Timothy is going to get the lone infraction. And you can hear the Bears bench barking because at the very end of that play, just as the whistle was called, one of their teammates took a cross-check pretty much to the side of the head. That went undetected by the officials as they were focused on the slashes that Timothy had perpetrated along the Steelhawks bench. But here we go, back to power play action for the Steelhawks. So deadly this season, and you would expect that from an 8-1 team. Pfeiffer to the near side. Sinfield already on the hat trick watch. Fanning on the one-timer attempt this time was Liam Aston, but the Steelhawks still have it with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Trying to cock back the cannon this time is Pfeiffer. Hits the end wall and ricochets off the back of the net. And the defense does a great job to make sure Clark collects it. And by the way, Gavin Clark starts this game, makes his debut here for the Bears because Craig Wend, who got a victory the last time in this barn for the Bears, is no longer on the team. Same with Goa Abrams and Sam Forbes. So you have Gavin Clark with Josiah LaForme backing him up tonight for the Bears. Pfeiffer, backdoor pass. Nice stop by Clark, and he shuts everything down, as I believe that was Liam Aston looking for a hole to ripple the mesh. Along the near wall, here go the Bears. Watch out for Eddie Renault. He's got one shorthanded goal so far this season. Unfortunately for the Bears, they don't have Josh Sanchez or Steven Portelli. Both of those have combined for 3 shorthanded goals so far this season. 45 seconds remains on the power play. Only 34 seconds, though, remains in the period. It's Devin Pfeiffer, who's already got 9 power play goals in this season. Will he get number 10 before this period ends? On the far corner, that's Braden McGregor. Trying to get the bouncer. Gavin Clark gets in his knee pad. As now, 16 seconds left, you would assume that the Bears are going to be content with trying to dribble out the rest of this clock and end the first frame after 15 minutes, tied 4-4. But the ball is pried loose. Numbers the other way for the Steelhawks, and they score! I believe that's Keegan Crowley taking advantage of the Bears' miscue. So 2.1 seconds left in the frame. The Steelhawks get the lead back. It's a 5-4 game. The Bears had it with about 11 seconds there and looked like they were content to run out the clock. They had a turnover pretty much at the front line of the Steelhawks, and that allowed Crowley to go back the other way and make it a 5-4 game for the 8-1 Steelhawks over the 1-8 Ohsweken Bears. But that's just the first of 4 installments of 15 minutes of lacrosse, folks. We'll be back on the other side with the second cue. Welcome back to Children's Arena. It's a 5-4 game for the Steelhawks. It was the Bears, though, that opened the scoring and had a 2-0 lead courtesy of Braden Smith and Chris Atwood. Cameron York would knock the goose egg off the board before Kyle Pedwell would make it 3-1 for the Bears. But then 3 straight goals, 2 from Landon Sinfield and 1 from Cole Hannaran, gave the Steelhawks the first taste of the lead. The Bears would tie the game up through John Perry Smith, but with literally 1 point something left on the clock, Keegan Crowley would go in and put it behind Gavin Clark, and that's where we are in this 5-4 game from Children's Arena. Pfeiffer continues to hold on to the biscuit and gives it to his teammate on that far side. Diving his way in and scoring. Are you not entertained? What a goal by the Steelhawks. And I know we're keeping it PG here on the broadcast, so I can't say what Coach Henry was saying at the intermission break to his team. It's words that Mama Bear would not appreciate. However, he was trying to inspire his team to get a little less chatty and get back to work. But unfortunately, 30 seconds into the second frame, he sees his team give up another goal. So the Steelhawks look to gain the momentum built at the tail end of the first and continue it here in the second. Remember, Keegan Crowley scored with 1.2 seconds, I believe, left on the clock. And literally 30 seconds into this frame, Owen Boyle opens up the second quarter scoring. As a lacrosse stick symphony ensues in the near corner here, it allows the Bears, though, an exit plan stage right down the floor. Lucas Beaver crosses the blue carpet into that far corner and goes towards the net. Beaver wanted the ball back but didn't get it. Instead, John Harrington is stopped from Lucas Coote. Harrington coming off of a 2-goal performance in that last game where they lost 13-8 to the Paris River Wolves. Now Crowley looking to cock it back. Instead, it's Osborne sneaking around, but they're going to say crease violation. The toe touched in before the ball went behind the net. Nicholas D'Amico into the far corner. They drop it back to the front of the pack, and Colton Paget. Paget to the near corner now. 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Racing into the center of the slot and then taking a shot into traffic was Eddie Renault. Renault in the last game had 3 goals and 5 points in that 13-8 loss. And here he is trying to barge the door on the defense. Lost it. Atwood's going to have to put something towards the net. Shot clock violation, if you will, and it'll give the Whitby Steelhawks the biscuit back here with 13 minutes remaining before the halftime break. Thanks for joining us from Children's Arena in Oshawa, Ontario. The 1-8 Ohsweken Bears, unfortunately, they're now down 7-4 in a game they were winning, 2-0. Owen Boyle, back-to-back jacks, if you will, to start off this second frame. Scored 30 seconds into this period, scored 2:08 into this period. He's on the hat trick watch, joining his teammate Sinfield, who had 2 in the opening frame. So the captain and Osborne put his hand in the cookie jar and has a snack, sets up a teammate, and they score! I mean, man, oh man, that was all Liam Osborne, but he gives it over to his teammate. It's a beautiful apple indeed. And now the Steelhawks truly are rolling. That's 3 goals in the opening 2:15 of the second Q. I'm just trying to make out whether that was Cameron York that's going to get credited for that last goal, or will it be Sinfield? Because remember, if it's Sinfield, that's the hat trick. And it is Landon Sinfield getting credited for his 3rd goal of the game. We got plenty of lacrosse left here on your Saturday night, folks. He's going to have, well, a stat pack kind of night. Osborne staples a Bear and then commandeers the rock. Osborne in alone. A thing of beauty. And I believe the goal is going to count, but then the official right away went to the Bear that was absolutely disposed of by Osborne. I didn't actually notice that. There is a Bear down here beside the boards, the officials. Oh, I apologize. It's the tape. Not the tape, folks. Somebody please think of the tape. But anyway, what a sad play, if you will, for the Bears that time. Their opponent gets obliterated into the boards. Osborne steals the ball away, goes in all alone, and makes the move on Gavin Clark, who, by the way, is currently being replaced in this game by Josiah Laforme. And Laforme is also making his debut. So you have 2 Bear goaltenders making their first appearances here in the ALL in 2025. So, man, oh man, it's a stampede from the Steelhawks to start off this second frame, and Nate Woods looks to go back to work with the low shot, just missing the target. Over and back is called, and we'll give the Bears the biscuit back here, trailing by 5 with 12:02 remaining before the halftime break. So the Bears looking to respond here and wake up out of hibernation, if you will, in this second quarter. The captain's pass into that far corner, though, misses Braden Smith, who had the opening goal of this game. Now a long-distance pass up to Pfeiffer, off the crossbar and into the rafters. He had that top left corner labeled, but hit the crossbar instead. So Keegan Crowley, remember, scored with 1.2 seconds left in the first. Then it's been all Steelhawks here in the second as they look to add more with this low shot ricocheting off of a couple opponents. They're going to say it touched a bear, though, last in Joseph Laforme. So Owen Boyle with 2 goals in this frame. Landon Sinfield with the hat trick. And then Liam Osborne with the last goal, as Hannaran is denied, with Laforme coming into this game, and not being able to handle that pass was Johnson. A wraparound attempt, and they score! Oh, that was so cheeky. Kyle Pedwell picked it up along the end wall, faked to the left, went to the right, the goalie left the corner open, it's a wraparound. And just like that, the Steelhawks find themselves still up 9-5 though, with 11:15 remaining here in the half. I gotta give a big credit to Donal Beatty. He's going left, he's going right. It's like a ping pong match here on your Saturday night. So Pedwell gets credited for the last goal. The Bears look a little dejected right now, if I'm reading the body language, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not trying to tell the coach's business, but a timeout might be looming. As another wraparound attempt, it was so nice they were trying to do it twice, but it will allow Nate Woods and the Steelhawks to come back the other way. Woods with the roller, and a big, big stop from Joseph Laforme. Those aren't easy stops, especially when it's a perfect skipping rock along the carpet for the goaltender. Although the Steelhawks, they lost track of the ball temporarily. The officials are going to bring this one back momentarily with 10:42 left on the clock. So Osborne to Aston. Aston now looking around at his options, goes across the floor with a pitch and catch. Aston looking to cock back the hand, instead goes to McGregor. McGregor denied at point-blank range from Laforme. And a slashing penalty is coming up. I was focused to my right because you have their captain and the Bears going on a break. But I look back to my left, McGregor's still on the blue carpet, and the officials are calling a penalty here to Joseph Laforme. So you have, don't get them mixed up, Joseph Laforme's going off to the penalty box for the second time. You have Josiah Laforme in between the pipes right now for the Bears. So again, the Steelhawks came in with a 73% power play. They've already had a couple power play goals in this game, and they've scored 6 on 5. They continue to go to work here with $1.50 left on this power play. Pfeiffer to his teammate, a kick save! Oh my word, that's 80s hockey goalie style. He stacked the pads, if you will, diving to his right side. So a chance for the Bears, short-handed. I thought for a second there he was going to take a gander towards the net and Nicholas D'Amico, but instead wisely wastes a little more clock here. Rue Johnson. Johnson trying to get around Aston. Johnson with a sharp angle shot denied by Lucas Coote. Coote again came into this game with an .813 save percentage along with a 231 saves and a 1066 goals against average. Aston back to Pfeiffer. Thought about taking the shot. Nice pass to Aston, a no-looker. They cross the floor. Off the goalie's mask, and they say it just trickled in. Well, you got to be lucky to be good. Good to be lucky, and the Steelhawks continue to roll. They've doubled up on the Bears now. It's a 10-5 game. Feel awful for the goalie that time in Josiah Laforme. Looked like he hit it right between the eyes, and somehow the English off of the cage ricocheted the ball backwards, and just one extra hop needed to cross the goal line. It did, and it's a 10-5 game. So the Bears, once again, looking to respond. This second frame has not been kind to the visiting Bears. Personnel change from both benches, and it's the Steelhawks transitioning the other way. Cameron York hanging on to it. So after Pedwell scored, Landon Sinfield grabs another one, his 4th goal of the game for Sinfield. From behind his own net, Nicholas D'Amico tries to stretch the floor, and now putting on the brakes in the Steelhawks territory will be Colton Padgett with support off the bench. 16 seconds left on the shot clock. The Bears trailing by 5, trying to get something towards Lucas Coote. The captain and Eddie Renault coming out of the near corner. Renault looking for a seam. Renault still looking for a seam. Tried to find John Perry Smith, but the pass wasn't there. Now Crowley with a head of steam. Crowley trying to backdoor a teammate. Coach Daggerton not happy with that call, as it looks like the Steelhawks are getting a penalty here for too many men on the floor. So just as you thought there was going to be a little more salt sprinkled on the wounds, no, the Bears have life. They have a power play coming up here, down by 5 with 8:19 remaining here in the second. As I mentioned before, the Bears come in with a 46% power play coming into this game. But man, oh man, the Steelhawks have a 60% penalty kill so far this season. John Harrington leads the charge into the zone. Harrington to the near side to Eddie Renault. Pitch and catch with Johnson. Renault back to his teammate. Looking to go backdoor to Johnson. Fake the shot. Now goes low. Coote got a piece of it. Trying to keep this from going over and back, but failing to, was John Harrington. But remember, the goalie got a piece of it, so the officials are wisely going to talk about this one. You got Chris Vannell and Ed Fines, as well as the crew chief in Brad Fennell. Now, Ryan Daggerton wants an explanation from that last play, but to be honest with you, from my perspective, the Bears shot the biscuit, it hit off of Coote, ricocheted back over the floor. That should allow the Bears to continue to play this ball. It's funny because, it's not an easy job to be an official. Those Zebras, they get it from both ends of the floor. You're never right when you wear that jersey. 7:58 remains here in the second frame, and it looks like they're going to split the difference. They're going to do a face-off at midfloor. Okay. The left hand washes the right hand washes the left, and they both wash the face, as they say. As we got 7:58 remaining here in the second frame. Bozino goes against Marshall Stevens. So Stevens and Bozino. And Stevens does a great job of just collapsing right onto the ball and then tries to kick it forward to a teammate in John Harrington. Harrington didn't know where it was, though, and the captain in Osborne has it momentarily. Oh, my word, it's a hot potato. Is anybody going to settle it down? It's over and back by the Bears, my word. Did they cover the ball in butter or something? As Osborne trying to back down a defender. A high stick there allows Coote to go to the box. They've already scored in this situation earlier in the first frame. 6-on-5 for the Steelhawks. Or I beg your pardon, because they're short. It's 5-on-5. I forgot about that there on a short-handed. So with Coote to the bench, the Bears can't touch it. Long shot denied by the goalie in Laforme. And as a result, a penalty is coming up here. So there was 56 seconds remaining on the bench penalty to the Steelhawks. So we're going to play a little 4-on-4 lacrosse here with Lucas Beaver going to be sitting in the sin bin for at least 56 seconds. And it looks like with 7:15 remaining here in the second frame and a 10-5 lead for the Steelhawks, we're getting an official's timeout here from Children's Arena. Welcome back to Children's Arena here for the 8-1 Steelhawks taking on the 1-8 Ohsweken Bears here in the East Division of Arena Lacrosse League action. Donal Beatty along with Jonathan Urbanowicz happy to take you through on ALL East Division action. The penalty closes down the Bears' power play, and now we got 4-on-4 lacrosse for at least 48 seconds. Pfeiffer to a teammate, and a diving stop to his left side, and that gets the sticks clapping off of the Bears bench, and rightfully so. Josiah Laforme making his debut for the Bears, replacing Gavin Clark, who was the starting goaltender for Coach Henry, who also was making his debut on your Saturday night. Atwood looking to cock back the cannon into the chest of Lucas Coote. Coote looking to extend the floor, and as teammates up there, Keenan couldn't handle it. And now the other goalie traps it like a mouse pad, but he was out of the crease. Oh no, that goalie GPS. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. He lost track of where he was. He was out of the crease. It gives the Steelhawks the ball back, and what makes matters worse is now they're in the Bears zone. They got 24 seconds left on a shot clock. Osborne to Pfeiffer, and they're going to say it snuck through. Pfeiffer, who already led this team in goals with 21 coming into this game and 60 points, continues to climb the leading scorers of the ALL. He's in the top 3. He's looking to get into top 2 after tonight. And it's, one thing when you look at a scoreboard like 11-5 and go, oh, it's clearly goaltending, sure. But you look at Gavin Clark and Josiah Laforme, how are these goalies being beaten? By having to go like left to right immediately on the radio dial with a backdoor feed and the guy perfectly capping it off. There's not too much angles and real estate that the goalie can't cover 100% of the net all the time. And a lot of these Steelhawks opportunities, especially in this second frame, have come at a eye-blinking rate. So you really can't put it on the tendies for the Bears. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Renault trying to use his speed to get into the zone. Still hanging on to the ball with 5 seconds left on the clock. Being pushed off into that corner. Only 2 seconds left. He's going to have to get something to the net. A frustrating possession that time for the Bears, to say the least, along with their captain and leading goal scorer with 22 coming into tonight in the Burlington, Ontario native in Eddie Renault. So now with the penalty over for the Steelhawks, they enjoy a brief power play here with 27 seconds left in it. Pfeiffer, no looker to Aston, trying to backdoor a teammate. How many goals has Landon Sinfield planning on scoring tonight? He almost had his 5th right there. So Pfeiffer with a man fresh off the bench this time, and Keenan. Keenan back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, no looker to Aston. Aston down low, and another kick save and a beauty, this time to the left pillow, if you will, of Josiah Laforme. So Pfeiffer, he wants the rock. He's going to get it. No looker to Aston. Aston cocks it, looks to take the shot. Instead goes cross court, and then a point-blank save on Landon Sinfield looking for his 5th goal of the game. And then Laforme sets a pick for his defenseman to have an exit plan stage left behind the net. D'Amico was trying to find Timothy. The pass, though, couldn't be handled by the Florida native. Now Crowley back into the zone. Crowley with some speed. Denied once again from the goaltender in Laforme. 11-5 is the score. 4:45 remains in the half. Another diving stop. And again, Laforme has been uber sharp. Both goalies I would give credit to. Gavin Clark, the starter, and Josiah Laforme, both making their debuts for the Bears here in the ALL East Division. And yeah, you could say, okay, there's 11 goals on the board, but if you actually watch back some of these goals, name me a goalie that could stop them. The Bears trying to wake up a bit. Lucas Coote had to be sharp now. Backdoor pass. John Perry Smith looking for his 2nd goal of the game. Going down low, and the Whitby goaltender says no. Fresh shot clock for the Bears if they can pry the ball away, but they can. Instead, it's the Steelhawks led by Bozino back into the zone of the Bears. Osborne from Bozino. Osborne was trying to cross it over yet again, but this time the Bears catching on to the rhythm. Under 4 to go here in the second frame. Leading by 6 are the Steelhawks. 7 seconds left though on this shot clock. Cameron York down low to a teammate in Woods, and the goalie in Laforme picks it up. Sends it up the floor to Colton Padgett. Padgett tries to send it to teammate Atwood. Atwood denied by Coote. Atwood had his 5th goal already of the season earlier in this game. He came in though leading this team with assists with 23. He also led the team in penalty minutes with 23 as well. So the Bears creeping down the near wall. That's Rue Johnson. Johnson looking to find a seam and actually throws this on a backhander, if you will, to Pedwell. Pedwell. Shot stopped by Coote. Now Cameron York with his speed on a breakaway. Only the goalie to beat. Put it over the board. Sinfield with the rebound. He's also denied. And that's the guy you want if you're a Whitby Steelhawks fan. He's already got 4 goals in this game. He got the rebound opportunity and only had to beat the goaltender LaForme, who says access denied. 15 seconds left on this possession, and it'll be over and back. Not being able to handle the pass was Braden Smith. Remember, Smith actually opened up the scoring here on your Saturday night from Children's Arena. Now Sinfield looking to get backdoor. The officials want to put a pause before the action continues here with 2:46 remaining in the second frame. Again, Chris Vanell, Ed Fines, and their crew chief in Brad Fennell. And the officials actually, one's giving the ball to the Bears, the other one's saying to get back here. I think there might have been a little bit of confusion between the officials, which led to more confusion for the Bears. 2:45 remains here in the second. Crossing over mid-floor is Lucas Beaver. He's going to head off to the bench. As now carrying into the zone is Pedwell. It's a bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson goes left, though, and now cocking the cannon high and wide on Coote. Eddie Renault grabs the rebound, though. Pedwell gets some support, or I beg your pardon, that's Braden Smith. Now to Eddie Renault. Renault is trying to find Johnson. Johnson coming out of the corner, pit-pocketed from behind. And now it is Osborne leading the charge into Bears territory to the left side. Osborne brings this back to his assistant captain in Hamley. Now to a teammate fresh off the bench in Aston. Liam Aston going to go to work. The Ottawa, Ontario native who's got 2 game-winning goals so far this season. But LaForme makes the save, and now the Bears try to transition back the other way. Lucas Coote is beaten by Atwood. It's his second goal of the game. John Harrington with a beautiful pass to Atwood, and Atwood made no doubts about it. The St. Catharines, Ontario native now has 6 goals in the campaign, and as I mentioned before, came in leading the team in apples, though, with 23. I was going to say, if there's any criticism you'd have on Chris Atwood coming into this game, is he's not shooting enough for a guy that has 23 apples, and yet he's already, gotten more than half of his total season, and tonight he had 4 coming in. He's got 6 now, and he's on the hat-trick watch. And more importantly for Coach Henry and the Bears, is that a wake-up call? Is that going to bring him out of hibernation, so to speak? With 94 seconds left here in the opening half, the officials are giving the Bears the ball back, and Coach Daggerton, as well as some of the staff on the Steelhawks, don't like it, and yet they're going to get it right back in the near corner here. 90 seconds left here. Goodchild into that far corner to Aston. Aston looking around at his options, dips around a defender, and I apologize, that's Cameron York. York to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer trying to find Woods. Woods couldn't handle it right away. Now Pfeiffer grabs the ball back. Pfeiffer trying to go around Eddie Renault. Pfeiffer behind the net. And the loose change is into the lap of the Bears, though, and with a $1.03 left in this half, they try and go up the floor. Atwood scores! Blink and you miss it. Atwood with the hat trick. It was a long-distance pass. And what do you know? The Bears have life here with 1 minute left in the second frame. So Atwood with the hat trick. Did I not just say a couple minutes ago this kid needs to shoot the ball more? And all of a sudden, he's got 3 tonight. Remember, he came in with 4 goals into this evening's game, and now he's got 7 on the season. 1 minute left before the halftime break from Children's Arena. Bozino has his pocket pick from behind, not handling it cleanly, but now does is John Harrington. Harrington down the left wing, stopped by Lucas Coote. Harrington was blocked off enough by Keenan. That will allow Cody Hamley to carry it in. Hamley with a nice move. Hamley in, and a shoulder shrug that time from the right side of LaForme. Now Timothy, the Florida native, using his speed to get into the Steelhawks zone. Leaves this one for a teammate in Colton Padgett. Padgett looking for some support off the bench and gets it. That's Braden Smith. Now to his teammate. It's Eddie Renault, not being able to handle the pass the first time, grabs it off the boards. 10 seconds remains on the shot clock. Renault to a teammate. A no-looker that time from John Perry Smith, but wide on the left side. Now a backdoor from Eddie Renault is denied by Coote. 6 seconds left as with 4.9 seconds left, the officials are going to blow down because there's a timeout from Coach Daggerton and the Steelhawks. They want to see if they can get a 5-goal lead before the halftime break here from Children's Arena. So after this brief break, we'll be back with more Arena Lacrosse League action. Welcome back to Children's Arena. The net is empty for the Steelhawks with a 4-goal lead. 4.9 seconds, though. Not a lot of time to waste here if you're the Steelhawks. You got to go, and you got to go now. So what did Coach Daggerton? Well, whatever he drew up didn't happen. It was going to Pfeiffer in the near corner, and they were trying to set up something in the slot, but that option wasn't there. After 30 minutes of lacrosse from Oshawa on your Saturday night, it's a 4-goal lead for the Steelhawks against the visiting Ohsweken Bears. Let's face it, the Bears had a 2-goal lead to start this game. In fact, they led 3-1 at one point, but this second frame was absolutely dominated by the Steelhawks, and as a result, they had the lead heading into the locker room. We'll be back with the second half of action here from Oshawa on the other side. Welcome back to Children's Arena. The second half of action is on here in Arena Lacrosse League's East Division as the Steelhawks have a healthy 11-7 lead, and they look to add to it here mere seconds in. Pfeiffer's already scored a goal in this game, just misses the net by an inch wide to the left side and ricochets off the end wall. Whitby controlled that second frame with a 5-goal skid, as now they have another chance, and literally just waving the left arm at that time was Josiah Laforme, who came into this game in favor of Gavin Clark, the starter. Now Luke Keenan gets one where the sun doesn't shine, and Nate Woods, before he could move up forward, I believe Keenan's getting a penalty. I don't think he was hit in the nether regions intentionally, but he felt that way, so he gave a chop back to the Bear. And it's always the reciprocator, not the instigator, that always seems to go to the penalty box in these situations. And Luke Keenan, who's like a James Bond martini right now, a little shaken, not stirred, will go off to the box for 2 or less. So the Bears. This game could be completely out of control right now if it wasn't for the efforts of Chris Atwood. The St. Catharines, Ontario native scored twice to end the second frame and bring his team within 4. So the Bears go back to a power play that was operating at 46% coming into tonight's affair. Watch out for Eddie Renault on the near side, a little pitch and catch action with his teammate Lucas Beaver. Now with a shot, and they score! John Harrington has the power play marker. It's Harrington's first goal of tonight. He's coming off of a 2-goal campaign when they lost 13-8 in their last game to the Paris River Wolves. What was interesting, too, about that River Wolves game, Sam Forbes actually took the loss, allowing 13 goals on 45 shot attempts. He's not available. Craig Wend isn't available, as well as Gowan Abrams isn't available for Coach Henry between the pipes, so he gets Gavin Clark, who was replaced by Josiah Laforme for tonight's action between the pipes. So it's an 11-8 game, and for the Steelhawks coming off of a 24-14 loss at Brampton to the Express, I'd imagine Coach Daggerton wants them to continue to put the foot on the gas pedal here and continue to use their offense. By the way, that Keenan penalty was a 5-minute major. It happened behind the play, so I didn't see, I thought it was just him responding to getting it a little low, but I didn't see what he actually did to retaliate. Instead, remember, the Bears already scored on the power play. They're allowed to score one more. Keenan would still stay in the box for those 5 minutes, but they would not continue with an advantage if they score a second time. Hanley keeps this from going over and back. 16 seconds left on the shot clock. And for the Steelhawks, I mean, you got to watch out for a litany of weapons on the floor, but Nate Woods would be number 1. 5 short-handed goals so far this season. So, Hamley, content with just rolling this down the floor. Possession taken over by the visiting Ohsweken Bears. The Bears have the lowest goals forward of any lacrosse league team in the Arena Lacrosse League with 88. That's 27 less than the second worst offense in the Six Nations Snipers, who have 115. Now Atwood gets this one off the wall and scores. The guy who scored twice to end the second frame has another goal here in the third frame. And Atwood, you know, it's a shame is if you didn't have that prior goal to the Bears, that would have been the natural hat trick, but instead he scored the last 3 out of 4 goals in this game with 12:31 remaining in the third. And after a defensively tight opening frame, a Whitby-dominated second frame, it looks like the Bears have got their claws out here in the third. So once again, the penalty is over to Keenan officially, but he will stay in the box to serve out the rest of that 5-minute major. Down by 2, or the Bears looking to hold the fort down here defensively. Great defense on that far side from Joseph Laforme. Now the Steelhawks crawling off of that far wall. Great cross floor pass to Goodchild. Goodchild tried to find a teammate that time and just couldn't handle the pass. Now with a head of steam back the other way. Nicholas D'Amico didn't like what he saw originally and makes a nice pass instead to Braden Smith. 20 goals on the board so far between these two teams. Braden Smith had the first one here on your Saturday night. Smith looking to get around Goodchild. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Smith still has the rock. Smith looking for a seam and just harmlessly shoots this down to Coote, and the Whitby goaltender has it. Coote, pump faking, launches a laser beam of a pass to Woods. Man, blink and you missed that one. Woods trying to find Cameron York. York, head up to Aston. Into that far corner now. As Aston moves towards the net, it will be Hannaren giving it back to Aston in that far corner. Now Pfeiffer. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Pfeiffer's going to have to get rid of it. It's Aston cocking back the cannon, and it's stopped by Laforme. So momentum on the Bears side here in the third. Sure, they still trail by 2, but you got a guy like Atwood who just scored a hat trick for you in this game, trying to wake his team up out of hibernation, if you will. Eddie Renault spinning off of Boiseno. Renault now dealing with Highland. Renault trying to go low. Stopped by the knee that time on the left side of Coote. Coote looking to get this up to Clancy and does. Clancy crosses over the halfway mark into Bears territory. Puts on the brakes and gives this to his teammate fresh off the bench. Tyler Goodchild now into the near corner. Sinfield, already 4 goals in this campaign. Slipped to give it to Pfeiffer. Now a backdoor pass, and I think Clark just got over in time, or I apologize. That's Laforme. Sinfield grabs it back. Only 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Long shot into the chest of the goaltender, eagerly awaiting it. Now John Perry Smith gives this back to Colton Paget. Paget up to Chris Atwood. Atwood's got to be feeling it. Nice pass to Perry Smith. Perry Smith trying to back down the Steelhawks defender. Perry Smith 1-on-3, but eventually lost the ball. And now some tomfoolery behind the play between Perry Smith and Boiseno. Now it's interesting, Whitby was the one that had the ball, meaning that they had the advantage. It's Perry Smith going to the box for the Bears. And I agree with Coach Taggerton, and the Steelhawks are going, wait a minute. Why was the whistle gone then? We've already scored 6-on-5 in this game with a looming penalty. We were eager to do it again. 9:47 remains here in the third, up 11-9, and the most lethal power play in the league gets a chance to go back to work. Again, coming in at 73%, opposing them with the penalty killer, the Bears operating at 34%. York from Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, no looker to Aston. Aston looking to get it down low. They grabbed it back. Nice stop from Laforme on Osborne. And now John Harrington exits stage right. Harrington taking on the world. Into the mill, if you will. He's going to throw this one back, but that's an over and back. Harrington did a great job to get it into Steelhawks territory. Sure, he didn't have really any support with him shorthanded, but sort of a foolish pass just to throw it blankly to nobody at mid-floor, and it gives the Steelhawks the biscuit back with 9:21 remains here in the third. A lethal power play going back to work. It's York to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer fakes the pass and gives it to Aston instead. Pfeiffer looking to get away from the defender and does, but they're going to say some interference will give the Bears the ball back. Up the floor and putting on the brakes was Kieran Costello, the first time saying his name on your Saturday night. Eddie Renault, his captain, continues to hunt the rock in that far corner. 16 seconds left on the shot clock, a $1.07 remaining on the minor penalty. The Steelhawks get it, a 2-on-1 with the power play, led by Crowley. Crowley to a teammate. Nice stop from LaForme, and that gets an applause out of the crowd here at Children's Arena. The Bears being led by Braden Smith as he received the pass from Kieran Costello. Braden Smith thrown down to the floor, has a stick slashed out of his hands, and played the ball without the stick. I don't think he can do that as the Steelhawks take over the rock. 35 seconds left on the power play. Nate Woods tried to do it himself, and he does. Scores! Nate Woods fire the laser beam, and it's a nylon ripper to give his team a 12-9 lead, courtesy of a power play marker with 8:19 left in the third. You talk to any team, or any coach, I should say, in this league, they'll always tell you that special teams always play a massive factor. And man, oh man, the Steelhawks came into this game with a power play operating at 73%. I can't believe I'm saying this. That number might actually rise after tonight because they've been uber effective with the man advantage, and they've even scored 6-on-5 in this game. Lucas Beaver, 3 Steelhawks absolutely mauling him, and they commandeer the ball away. Boisano looks around at his options, and backtracking, he'll give it to the near side to Goodchild. Goodchild creeping down the wall. Goodchild guarded by Timothy. Goodchild receives a pick. Goodchild once again looking around at his options. Goes across the floor, cocking back the can with Hannaran. And LaForme with another stop. Remember that hit the goaltender though, so no over and back as Goodchild collects it on the other end of the floor. 3 seconds left. Cameron York's just going to roll this one down. The shot clock goes, and the Bears down by 3 take over with 7:39 left in the third. Over the mid-floor and putting on the brakes was Joseph LaForme. Now in the far corners, Johnson. Rue Johnson. Fake the pass back and hangs on to it. Johnson feathers it to John Perry Smith. What an assist from Johnson, and Perry Smith put the cherry on the sundae on a beautiful play set up by Johnson. And man, oh man, just when you think one team's going to pull away with it or the other, no, it's a back and forth affair that continues to brew here at Children's Arena on your Saturday evening. Hard to believe one of these teams is 8-1, and the other team is 1-8. Talking about a team with an .889 winning percentage going against a .111 winning percentage. But as I mentioned before, both teams undefeated in this barn. Now here goes Sinfield for another helping, and he scores! Oh me, oh my! That's number 5 for Sinfield on your Saturday night. And didn't I just get over saying how one team's going to pull away, the other team's going to... As soon as the Bears clawed back within 2, Sinfield gets his 5th of the contest. I mean, we still have over 22 minutes of lacrosse left in this game, although I'm just going to take a wild guess that Sinfield is one of your 3 stars to come out of this one. Timothy along the near boards. Harassed by Sinfield, but Timothy got it back. Timothy to his teammate. They go down low. Unfortunately, John Harrington couldn't get it, and it's an over and back charge to the Bears. 7:01 remains here in the third frame. It's a 13-10 lead, courtesy of the 5 goals poured in from Sinfield. We'll be back after this officials timeout. Welcome back to Children's Arena. 7:01 remains here in the third frame. A 13-10 game for the host, Whitby Steelhawks. Cameron York collects it in the near corner, guarded by Timothy. York rotates off the wall, goes across the floor to Aston. Aston goes back across the floor to a teammate who's trying to pound the rock. And now York with the pass, and he scores! Cameron York with his second goal of the game sent in a changeup, if you will, on LaForme, who was expecting the fastball, and now it's a 4-goal lead for the Steelhawks. I mentioned the 5-goal stretch that the Steelhawks had after the end of that first frame leading into the second frame. The Bears recently went on a 4-goal skid of their own, but Nate Woods and Landon Sinfield have all gotten involved in the action here in the third. So Cameron York gets credited with his second goal of the game. Luke Keenan denied by Laforme. Gets his own rebound, gives it over to Pfeiffer, and Laforme denies him as well. Goalie looks to go down the floor, but instead gives it to the near side to Nicholas D'Amico. D'Amico tries to get it to in front of his bench to Atwood. Atwood has had one heck of a game. Came into this contest with 4 goals, and already he's got 3 tonight. Net empty for the Bears with the delayed penalty coming up here. 6-on-5. Only 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Long shot denied by Coote. That will reset the clock, though. That should reset the clock. And I hate to say this. Obviously, the ball ends up going into the mesh. Holting play down here with 5:50 remaining. But a bit of a break there for the Steelhawks because in reality, the Bears continued with the rock there 6-on-5, and after the shot on Coote with the shot clock expiring, it should have given the Bear the ball back. The Bears, again, as I mentioned, coming off of a 13-8 loss to the Paris Riverwolves. They averaged 9.8 goals per game this season, so they've already exceeded that with 10 here in the third. Now Eddie Renaud, massive save from Lucas Coote. In the high slot was Renaud, the leading scorer for the Bears. Now the captain gets it back to the near side. That's Braden Smith. Great passing, but point-blank denial from Lucas Coote. He was going left, he dove right, and right at the last second denied the rock from crossing the goal line. Nate Wood has 5 short-handed goals so far this season. With 15 seconds left on the shot clock, we'll see if he tries to go after number 6 here. With 5:05 left in the third period and his team having a 4-goal lead. Woods tried to roll this one down low. Actually ricocheted off to D'Amico into the lap of his teammate Atwood. So Atwood looking to get his power play going on this team that came in operating at 46%. Renaud to Johnson. To the teammate now in Harrington. Back to Renaud. Takes a slash to give it to Braden Smith. Now that's Harrington. Back to Renaud. Renaud tries to go low. Boisano stopped it, but he paid the price. Now Renaud races back on the back check to get the ball back, but possession goes anyway. It's going to give the Steelhawks the rock. What a stop defensively from Boisano, and he's going to head right back to the locker room. He probably needs some ice on that stinger. Looked like an ankle shot, ball-on-ball action, if you will. The Indian rubber ball going right off the ankle ball that time of Boisano. So Sinfield, 5 alive in this game already with 5 goals. He could potentially have the double hat trick. Cameron York looking for a hat trick of his own right, going from behind the net to the far side to his assistant captain, who takes a lick from Timothy, and that's Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer to Keenan. Keenan, long shot denied by Laforme, who's going to give this one up to Colton Padgett. Padgett's waiting for numbers off the bench, though, so he's going to head off to the bench, leaving the rock for Chris Atwood. The St. Catharines, Ontario native shoots this one high between the ears, if you will, of Lucas Coote, and the Whitby Steelhawks take back over. Under 4 to go here in the third, leading by 4. Luke Keenan goes into the zone, fires this over to the far side of the captain and Osborne. Osborne trying to get around Harrington. Osborne looking around at his options, bounces this one off of the wall, collecting it is Woods. Nate Woods, 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Being guarded feastly by D'Amico. Woods, shot deflects off of traffic into the near corner. Grab the ball, short angle shot, stopped by Laforme. So the Bears down but not out. Only down by 4 here with 3:05 remaining in the third frame. Lots of communication coming off of the Steelhawks bench. Atwood, as a delayed penalty is coming. The Bears are going to go back to a power play. That's if they don't score here, 6-on-5. But the Steelhawks do touch the rock, and another penalty comes up here to the home team. Slashing penalty going to Woods behind the play puts the Bears back to the man advantage. The Bears have surrendered the most goals of any East Division team with 146, although the Blackfish out west have given up more with 151. Now remember, earlier in this season, they had given up more goals than the Bears, but had a winning record. The Blackfish currently have one game below 500, giving up that 151 marker so far on the campaign. So Renault to Braden Smith. Smith trying to go far side. Where is it? They're going to say it stayed out. Great effort from Lucas Coote. Now Osborne receives the pass, tries to go low and scores. Short-handed, the captain. Oh, captain gets the job done to make it 15-10. And Osborne could have fired it over the shoulder, but did sort of a underhand roller, if you will, to the far side of Laforme. And as I mentioned earlier about Gavin Clark, the starting goaltender who's been replaced from Josiah Laforme, both goaltenders have played well, but what do you do with some of these shots that the Steelhawks are taking? Trying to settle down the rock is Marshall Stevens. Stevens eventually does and tries to head north through John Perry Smith. Perry Smith puts on the brakes and waits for some troops off of the bench and finds it in Atwood. 2:10 remains here in the third. $1:20 remains on the power play. Atwood looks around at his options, finds Perry Smith, who scores. John Perry Smith, his second goal of the game. Perry Smith scored with 7:23 remaining in the third frame. And now, 5 minutes and 20 seconds later, grabs his second goal. The assists are going to go. So the penalty is over, a power play marker. Not bad for the Bears. Again, they came in with a 46% power play. And they've been holding serve, if you will, to the Steelhawks, who came in with a 73% power play. Both teams taking advantage of the man advantage. Sinfield to Goodchild. Goodchild fakes the shot. Goodchild looking around at his options, goes to the far side to Cameron York. York back to Sinfield. Sinfield goes low, tried to go 5-hole, stopped by Laforme. Now Laforme to the near wall to Lucas Beaver. Beaver couldn't handle it cleanly. Some 11-on-11 violence as Beaver will keep this away from Goodchild, but not long enough as the officials give the ball back to the Steelhawks. Cole Hannaran leaves this for his teammate. As Laforme didn't know where it was temporarily, but lucky for him, the defense and Kieran Costello does. Costello gives it to the left side to a teammate in Brady Laborge. And now taking a mean hit as the door opened. That's a dangerous play. As Nicholas D'Amico took a hit in front of the Steelhawks bench, he went into the door wasn't locked, and he almost fell right into the Steelhawks bench. 45 seconds remains here in the third. A 4-goal lead for the host Steelhawks, looking to improve to 9-1 on the season. I don't think Laforme saw it. Now the wraparound attempt. It stayed out. You know, Laforme didn't know where the ball was temporarily, and trying to take advantage of that was Hannaran on the wraparound, but quick to it was Laforme to deny him. Braden Smith to a teammate just over the crossbar that time. Atwood tries to get it back. Now the loose change goes into the lap of Osborne. Osborne with his teammate in Woods. Osborne scores! The hat trick for the captain with 15.2 seconds left in the frame. It's now a 5-goal lead for the Steelhawks here in a 16-11 game. And it's not like the Bears haven't had their chances. This easily could be a tied game. Heck, the Bears could even have a taste of the lead right now. But, man, guys like Sinfield with 5 goals, Osborne with 3. They haven't made it an easy debuts for the goaltenders in Gavin Clark, the starter, and the backup in Laforme, as Woods tries to go a little highlight of the night, if you will. And Lucas Coote now trying to If Lucas Coote scored with the goalie in the net, I would have just walked off this broadcast. But anyways, it's a 16-11 game after 3 periods of play. The final 15 minutes is on tap between the Ohsweken Bears and the Whitby Steelhawks on the other side. Welcome back to Children's Arena on your Saturday night. It's a 16-11 lead for the Whitby Steelhawks here in Oshawa, Ontario, located in the region of Durham. The region of Durham exists on the lands of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe, inhabited thousands of years prior to European colonization. These lands are the traditional and treaty territories of the nations covered under the Williams Treaties, including the Mississaugas of the Scugog Island First Nations, Alderville First Nations, Hiawatha First Nations, Curve Lake First Nations, and the Chippewa Nations of the Georgina Island, Bosolo, and Rama. We honor, recognize, and respect the Indigenous people that have the right holders and stewards of the lands and waters in which we have the privilege to live and enjoy the medicine game, as Woods is denied point blank from LaForme, tried to go to hole number 5, and it was shut down. Now into the Steelhawks zone was Colton Paget. They crossed the floor to John Perry Smith. 16 seconds left on the shot clock. Perry Smith to a teammate off the bench who scores. John Harrington had 2 goals last game. He's got 2 goals tonight, and his team has been brought back within 4. Still lots of lacrosse left. Don't dare touch that radio dial, as I used to like to say in the old heydays. 14-21 left in this game, and in the sport of lacrosse, I mean, we've seen it already at countless. You blink, the ball's on one end of the floor, and all of a sudden it's rippling the mesh for a goal on the other. So 4 goals, 14 minutes. That ain't nothing, folks. And as Drake likes to say, it ain't over till it's over. The Bears looking to avoid falling 1-9 on the season. The Whitby Steelhawks, though, looking to go Oppo Taco with a 9-1 record if they continue to hold on to the victory. Not being able to handle the pass cleanly was Atwood. Atwood goes down low to a teammate, though. Perry Smith was looking for another helping, but he's denied. Pfeiffer out of the near corner, up to his captain in Osborne. Osborne gets around a defender. Osborne tries to go high, but blew it over the crossbar. Keeping it in from going over the halfway mark was Pfeiffer. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Pfeiffer goes into the teeth of the defense of the Bears and gives it over to a teammate who cocks it, and it's stopped by the shoulder that time of LaForme, but then the wraparound, a Steelhawks score. I feel bad for LaForme. He made the original save, but then Cole Hannaran grabbed the loose change, went to the wraparound on the left side of the goaltender, and found that top corner. Man, oh man, back and forth, back and forth. Every time you think one team again has got this game by the knickers, well, no, they don't. A 5-goal lead, though, for the Steelhawks. Not a surprise. They're 17 goals on the board. They averaged 16.3 goals coming into this game. Oh, yeah, and had a plus 34 goal difference. They had the second highest offense in the East Division with 147 goals coming into this game, behind Brampton, who's got 156, and the best defense, mind you, with 113 goals allowed. Sinfield looking for another goal. That would have been his second hat trick of the game. A pass misses. I believe that's Harrington at mid-floor. It allows Coote to roll it to Crowley. Crowley's going to head off to the bench for fresh legs for the Steelhawks. Sinfield's pass hits the official, and just like Happy Gilmore in the batting cage getting ready for hockey season, just goes, "Give me more." Pfeiffer steals it at mid-floor. Up by 5. He's going to wait for fresh personnel to come off of his bench and Coach Daggerton. Pfeiffer, watched by Timothy. Still hanging on to the rock. Goes into that far corner. A bounce shot actually picked up high from LaForme. So now Lucas Beaver crawling down the right boards into Steelhawk territory. Beaver to a fresh bear off the bench. They zigzag it back to the captain, Renault, on the near side. Renault thought he had a seam. Renault looks to split the defense. Hits the end wall. Now his teammate to John Perry Smith. Access denied from Lucas Coote. Hamley, 2-on-3 for the Steelhawks. Hamley, not liking the numbers game, waits for Cameron York off the bench. York, again, looking to set up his options. Letting all the pieces on the chessboard in place, if you will. Now Aston to a teammate in Hanneran. York to the assistant captain in Hamley. Hamley scores! An over-the-shoulder shot. It came over the defenseman's back. I don't think Laforme saw it coming out of the gate, and as a result, Hanneran has another marker on your Saturday night, and his team has a 6-goal lead. By the way, if the Steelhawks win tonight, they'll improve to 6-0 here at Children's Arena. They have had some close victories, though, in this barn, including an 11-10 victory over Brampton and 19-18 over the Toronto Monarchs. Both those victories came in overtime. But if we want to see some extracurricular lacrosse, we're going to see Lucas Beaver trying to go one on the world. He ends up taking a high stick in the process, and the excellent efforts of Lucas Beaver at least draws a penalty out of this play. So is his team down by 6, 11-18 left on the board. Dare I say, a little bit of life breathed into the Bears offense. It really looked like Lucas Beaver was going to go in and score. He was going 1-on-3 against the Steelhawks defenders, almost split through the seam and pretty much got hog-tied around the neck as a result. So Atwood pitch and catch, a no-looker to the far side to Harrington. Harrington back to Atwood. Atwood into that far corner. They try and move it to the near side now. Or I beg your pardon, that's Harrington. Now a backdoor that's in the crease. Some pushing and shoving after the play. Braden Smith, who scored the first goal of the game, was looking to score the last goal of this game. But unfortunately for him, not only does he not score, he ends up taking a minor penalty. And only 22 seconds into the man advantage, it's over. We're back to 4-on-4 lacrosse. And the officials are trying to orchestrate this at mid-floor right now. Again, you got Chris Vanell, Ed Fines, and the crew chief in Brad Fennell. It looks like, though, a Steelhawk is joining Smith in the sin bin. So we might be getting coincidentals here. Although as I look up at the scoreboard at Children's Arena, they just have the one penalty. And as I say that, there goes the other. So it's the announcer's curse, if you will. So if my mathematics are correct, we got 4-on-3 lacrosse. So 4-on-3 lacrosse, potentially for 90 seconds. That's if the Bears don't score. And now with 18 seconds left shorthanded, Sinfield tries to go back to work. And yeah, he didn't get his 6th goal of the game yet, but he drew a penalty out of the play. Are we getting 3-on-3 lacrosse now? With 10:41 remaining in the fourth period, discipline somewhat gone out the window between these two teams. It's a 6-goal game. And smashing his stick out of frustration that time, Nicholas D'Amico. So do you like open space, folks? We got lots of it here at Children's Arena. 3-on-3 lacrosse. Pfeiffer and Osborne. They lose the rock, though. And now the Bears have life back the other way. Kieran Costello trying to do it all himself. Eventually passes to the far side. And I'll put that on the starting goaltender who's now on the bench, and Gavin Clark. If he closed that door, the ball probably stays in, and the Bears probably continue possession. Instead, the officials are forced to give the rock back to the home team. Pfeiffer tried to backhand this one. Grabs his own recycling, if you will. Spinning off of a defender is Pfeiffer to his captain, and Osborne, who just flicks the wrist and puts it on the top corner. Top cheddar, because it tastes better. And the captain, 3-on-3, makes the Bears pay with 10:05 remaining in the fourth. We've seen a lot of goals tonight that could go in the highlight category, but that last one from Osborne, just the lightest flick of the wrist to go over the left shoulder that time of Laforme. And not to sound like a broken record, but I don't blame the goaltenders for a lot of these goals. Boisano sends D'Amico down to the floor. I beg your pardon, that's Lucas Beaver. Beaver's had a rough fourth quarter, physically that is, as he's found himself on the blue carpet several times. Laforme stops this one with his left leg. John Harrington gets it into the Whitby zone. 3-on-3 lacrosse remains for another 18 seconds as Coote had to be sharp. I think that might have caught him up high. And now Crowley back the other way. Crowley couldn't handle it. Laforme tried to poke at it. It's loose in that far corner. Crowley gets it back. Crowley looks around at his options. Nobody's there. Mainly because it was 3-on-3 lacrosse. But now we get 4-on-3 lacrosse favoring the Steelhawks. Aston with a brief power play to Woods. Now Aston with real estate gives it instead to Goodchild, who has to collect it in that far corner. Goodchild to Aston. Aston fires the laser beam. It's off the crossbar and into the rafters. The one penalty is over, so now we get 5-on-3 lacrosse. Now wait a minute, the Bears put 4 out there though. I believe there's a bit of a timekeeper's mishap going on here. So now we're going to get 5-on-4 lacrosse for 13 seconds. You had some 3-on-3, we've had some 4-on-3, we've had some 5-on-4. And Laforme gets scored on from Luke Keenan. Keenan, the last time his team was on this blue carpet, he had 8 assists as his team put up 24 goals on the board. He's now got another multi-goal campaign on your Saturday night, and his team's got 20 here at Children's Arena. And if you're the Bears, you're going to start looking ahead to the schedule. Their next game's on Sunday, February 23rd. They'll be taking on the Brampton Express. That's at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena, and that's at 2 p.m. And now Pfeiffer, they're going to say, was illegally pushed off the ball. It'll give him and the Steelhawks the rock back. Pfeiffer could have shot it right there. Instead gives it to a teammate in Woods, who rolls it 5-hole, and they score. Oh, have mercy. The Steelhawks hit blackjack on your Saturday night. And remember, this was a 2-0 game and a 3-1 game at the beginning of this evening for the Bears, but now they find themselves down by 9 in the fourth. Off of the face-off win, Osborne and the Steelhawks look to go back to work. Again, with a 9-goal lead so far in this game. Hannaran looking around at his options, finds Sinfield, who's already got 5 goals in this game. Hannaran couldn't handle the pass originally, but the Steelhawks continue to have it with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Aston to Sinfield. Sinfield just wide on the left side. The bouncing ball trying to be settled down that time from Nicholas D'Amico. Shot clock will go, and it will be the Bears' ball. Chris Atwood so far in this game, 8 points, 4 goals, and 4 assists. He's been supported by John Perry Smith, who's got a hat trick and 1 assist. And Eddie Renault, the captain, who, by the way, had a hat trick in his last game, or I should say 3 goals and 2 assists. And he also had 5 goals and 3 assists the last time he played the Steelhawks. He's got 4 assists, but no goals so far here tonight. 7:25 remains here in the final frame. Devin Pfeiffer, who, by the way, has 7 points so far in this game, including 6 apples, looks to fire this one low side, denied by Laforme. Pfeiffer grabbed his own rebound, though, and a fresh 20 goes on the clock. Into the slot, Luke Keenan is denied, and an excellent save by Laforme. Listen, it's easy to give up, especially when you're down by 9 in the fourth, but that's not what Laforme is doing between the pipes, especially after that last spectacular save. So Eddie Renault, again, still looking for his first goal tonight, but does have 4 assists. His teammate goes down low, and Atwood is denied by Lucas Coote. Atwood was looking for point number 9 and goal number 5 on the evening. But man, oh man, even after 8 points by Atwood, out of the 12 goals on the board, his team is down by 9 here in the latter half of the fourth. As taking a blindside hit that time was Chris Atwood, the aforementioned player. It looks like the officials are calling an H2O break, though, between these two teams with 6:35 remaining in the fourth frame. You're watching Arena Lacrosse League action in the East Division between the Whitby Steelhawks and the Ohsweken Bears. Quickly back into the action here at Children's Arena. Only 6.5 minutes, though, left in the 60 minutes of play. Looking to bar the door is Braden Smith. Lucas Coote to his right side makes the stop and looks to extend this play up the floor. Goes to Boiseno, the safe option, who crosses into Bears territory. Has men coming off of the bench. Looks to give it to somebody off of the bench. No, hangs onto the rock instead. Now to a teammate in Goodchild, and Goodchild scores. Wow. Boiseno just hung onto the rock, continued to look around at his options, and eventually found the right one. It was Goodchild on that far side, who's got his first goal of the game and his second point. So it's been a stack-pack kind of night. There are only 4 registered players on the Whitby Steelhawks side that have not registered any points. Dallas Clancy, Quinn Highland, Brandon Hoshman, and Braden McGregor. Everybody else has gotten involved. Well, actually, check that. Lucas Coote, the goaltender, doesn't have an assist yet. And you might go, well, why would he? He's only got 7 so far on the season. He likes to get involved in the offense. So a 10-goal lead for the host Steelhawks, who are looking to improve to 9-1 on the regular season at top of the East Division standings in the Arena Lacrosse League. And are they going to add to it here? Hoshman from long distance tried to go low. LaForme makes the stop. Gives it over to John Perry Smith. He's going to walk this one across mid-floor. Stretches it over to, well, his teammate in Rue Johnson. Johnson gave it into the slot that time to Atwood. Atwood to Perry Smith. Off of the cage that time of Lucas Coote. Now Pfeiffer. If he gets to this ball, it'll be 1-on-3 for the Steelhawks. Pfeiffer spinning off of the defender and scores. A highlight of a night type goal. Pfeiffer with his second goal of the game, his 8th point, put the Bear defender in the spin cycle and cleaned up the laundry. And it does look another goaltender change is happening here. You can't blame LaForme. And I'm loving the goalie love showed there between Gavin Clark and Josiah LaForme. The starting goaltender in Clark is coming back into this game, but LaForme did an incredible job throughout your Saturday evening here in his debut as well. Personally, wouldn't want to be either of those guys. Do not put me between the pipes against the Steelhawks team. Last time I was calling a Steelhawks game, oh, they put up 24 points. You're going, that won't happen again. Oh, yeah, they got 23 on the board right now with 5:05 remaining in the game. They might duplicate the offense here. Steelhawks came into this game averaging 16.3 goals per game and had a plus 34 goals differential. The Bears averaged 9.8 goals per game and a minus 58 goals differential. So Hannaran finds a teammate. Aston couldn't handle the pass, and now it's Gavin Clark back into the net, grabbing the ball and moving it up the floor to Colton Paget. Paget leaves it to the near side to Lucas Beaver. Beaver behind the back cheekily to a teammate and John Harrington. Harrington with some support off of the bench coming, and here it is in Padwell. Not being able to handle the pass was Perry Smith, and now some speed back the other way. It's Highland putting on the Jets. Highland cocked it back and fanned on the shot, though. And they're going to say a bit of an illegal screen, I guess. We'll give the Bears the rock back. The officials quickly blow this play back in. And the Bears, with 4:05 remaining on the hourglass, get this into Steelhawk territory. The Bears look like they're about to fall to 1-9 in the year, although Eddie Renault looking for his first goal. A crease violation, even if that goal got behind Lucas Coote, it wouldn't have counted. Now Bozino takes a couple slashes, hangs onto the rock, fires a laser beam wide off the end boards, and it ricochets into the rafters. Gavin Clark, the goalie, will go and grab it. The Steelhawks are back in action next Saturday here at Children's Arena, a place that they're going to improve to 6-0 on the campaign. So next Saturday at 5 p.m. in this building, they're back in action against the Paris Riverwolves. Atwood into the far corner, spinning off of the defender and trying to get towards the net this time is Pedwell. Pedwell denied, and eventually the ball is pried loose. Cheekily picking the ball back up and then taking a stick up high that time was Rude Johnson. No call, and now Boisano back the other way. Well, you can't get any closer than that. He threw it right into the stick of Gavin Clark, who made the stop. So the Bears, you think it's somewhat of a technicality at this point, a 9-goal deficit they face with under 3 to go, but it ain't over till it's over. But they need offense now, and they need it in a hurry. Johnson has a seam. Johnson tries to fire it. Coote with the chest stave down in the butterfly. As the Bears visibly frustrated as they head off to the bench there. There again, this was a game they led 2-0 out of the gate, and they led 3-1 in the first frame. And now it's Clark with the stop, bailed out by his defenders, trying to stretch this up the floor. It's out of the reach, though, this time of Colton Paget, and allows Lucas Coote to collect it for Ohsweken. Ohsweken, as I mentioned, one of 5 Whitby Steelhawks to be off of the score sheet tonight. Everybody else has gotten involved in the action, including this man and Cameron York. York looking to add another goal, denied by the stick this time of Gavin Clark. Now a chance for the Bears. Crossing it off the bench, Eddie Renault had a chance to score, instead gave it over to Atwood, and Atwood was denied by Coote. Coote came into this game with 231 saves, over 304 minutes between the pipes. He's already won 2 ALL championships back-to-back with Oshawa and Whitby, respectively, as he makes 1 save, and then Renault puts it over the boards. It ricochets over the mesh, giving the Steelhawks the ball back. So watch out for Sinfield. Remember, he's already got 5 goals in this game, looking for number 6. Here's Hannaran spinning off a defender. His pass to Aston got not deflected, but disrupted, if you will. And then the Bears were trying to speed up the play, and the officials go, hold your horses here. You're eventually going to take over the rock with $1:25 left on the clock. So again, the Bears this evening led by Chris Atwood with his 8-point performance, but unfortunately for him, not enough of a secondary supporting cast, if you will. John Harrington, 4 points in the game, gets it to Johnson. Johnson with the low shot, and he's denied. He came in with 1 assist. And now 2-on-1, making a breakaway for Keenan. Keenan in alone, scores. Luke Keenan continues to put the salt on the wound of the Bears. He gets his first goal, according to the officials here on your evening, and his 3rd point of the night. You know, after 24 goals, you start to lose a bit of track, but I'm pretty sure Luke Keenan already rippled the mesh earlier in this game. But again, I just say what the officials tell me. 55.7 seconds left in this game. It is the Steelhawks doubling up on the Bears 24-12. That's back-to-back games that the Steelhawks have played here at Children's Arena where they've scored 24 goals. As the Bears try to respond here, remember, they beat the Six Nations Snipers by scoring 24 goals the last time here in Oshawa. But then in the last game on the road, they gave up 24 goals, losing 24-14. And what do you know? Trying to get real tricky with it between the legs was John Perry Smith. Lucas Coote makes another stop, potentially his final of the night, with 20 seconds left in this game. Crowley trying to settle this down at the middle of the floor, and he will. It looks like the Steelhawks are going to improve to 9-1 on the regular season and remain at the top of the East Division. The Lonely Bears, unfortunately, after prevailing the last time here at Children's Arena, will drop this one by 12. Steelhawks win. Steelhawks win. The number 1 team in the East Division continues to strut their stuff. Their second game here at home with 24 goals put on the board. And a great performance at the between the pipes, I should say, by Lucas Coote. The Whitby, Ontario goaltender is going to prove to 6-0-0 in the regular season. He came in with a 10.33 goals against average and an 8.13 save percentage. A quick reminder that the Steelhawks are back in action next Saturday on February 22nd when they host the Paris River Wolves here at Children's Arena at 5 p.m. The Ohsweken Bears, their next game in the season is on Sunday. They're going to actually be hosting the Brampton Express at 2 p.m. at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena. So the final score after 60 minutes of lacrosse action, it's 24-12 for the Whitby Steelhawks. For Dono Beatty, as well as our executive producer and Dan Malta, I'm Jonathan Urbanowicz. It's been a pleasure bringing you ALL East Division action here on your Saturday night. And for the entire crew, have an enjoyable Saturday night and stay warm out there.